I tried to dig a garden where the soil was bittersweet, to plant the maybe and the someday underneath our feet. But the shovel hit a hollow that I didn't know was there, and the flowers started falling through the empty, frozen air. I thought it was a pocket just to keep a secret in, a little place for sorry and for where do we begin. But the edges started crumbling, the dirt began to slide, and there's nowhere left for all the broken parts of us to hide. I'm standing on the precipice of a promise that we made, watching every golden hour start to flicker and to fade. It's not a grave, it's not a well, it's not a hiding place. It's just a growing nothing with your vanished ghostly face. And it's a hole gone wrong, a cannon in the chest, the heavy jagged rhythm of a heart that cannot rest. I meant to make a sanctuary, I meant to make a home, but I only made a vacuum in the marrow of my bone. The more I try to fill it up, the deeper it becomes, to the steady hollow beating of 1,000 muffled drums. Yeah, I'm falling through the center of a tragic, lonely song, in the silence of a hole gone wrong. I threw in your old sweater and the letters that you wrote. I threw in every always that was stuck inside my throat. But they don't hit the bottom, they don't make a single sound. Just a million miles of used to be beneath the solid ground. I see the neighbors looking at the crack inside the floor, while I'm trying to keep the shadows from the bolted kitchen door. It's an architectural failure, a structural despair, to be living in a house when there's nothing, nothing there. Is it a wall, or is it a door to a place where I don't have to feel us anymore? I'm leaning over the darkness, I'm calling out your name, but the echo only offers up a cold and quiet shame. If I jump in, will I find you, or will I just disappear into the high definition of my fear? And it's a hole gone wrong, a canyon in the chest, the heavy jagged rhythm of a heart that cannot rest. I meant to make a sanctuary, I meant to make a home, but I only made a vacuum in the marrow of my bone. The more I try to fill it up, the deeper it becomes, to the steady hollow beating of 1,000 muffled drums. Yeah, I'm falling through the center of a tragic, lonely song, in the silence of a hole gone wrong. Deeper still, the world is turning, but my heart is standing still. Just a gap, just a blur of the people that we were. Oh, gone wrong. The shadows sing of deep piano. It sustains and slowly distorts until it cuts off. The shadows sing of deep piano. It sustains and slowly distorts until it cuts off. The shadows sing of deep piano. It sustains and slowly distorts until it cuts off. The shadows sing of deep piano. It sustains and slowly distorts until it cuts off. I'm staring at the ticket for the show next week, the one we promised we would never miss. Now the silence in the kitchen is starting to speak of the later on that ended with a kiss. There's a half-written letter on the corner of the desk, and the garden seeds are waiting in the tray. It's a cruel kind of mad, a grotesque picturesque, how a whole forever simply slips away. The coffee's still warm, but the seat is cold. I'm holding the chapters that'll never be told. We were only at the prologue, just a few pages in. Now I'm staring at the end where we were supposed to begin. It's a life cut short, a song left on the hook, a hollowed out story, a torn up book. We had reservations for a 30-year run, but we're closing the curtains before we begun. I'm mourning the mornings we'll never get to see, and the gray-haired versions of you and me. God, it's a heavy, jagged kind of retort to be left in the wreckage of a life cut short. I found your running shoes by the back porch door, like you're coming back to lace them up again. But the rhythm of your heartbeat isn't there anymore to break the steady rhythm of the rain. We were gonna buy that house on the edge of the hill. We were gonna learn to sail on the bay. And now the world is moving on, but the clock is standing still on the Tuesday that you went away. They say that it's better to have loved and to lose, but they never had to walk in these empty room shoes. They never had to watch a horizon go black or try to pull a vanished future back. It wasn't a fade, it wasn't a slow decline. It was a lightning bolt hit in a straight, steady line. It's a life cut short, a song left on the hook, a hollowed out like a sentence with no dot. I'm tied in a tangle of a tightening knot. Just a fragment, just a spark, extinguished too early in the dark. A life cut short, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the sound of a ticking clock. The sharp, sudden stop in the music, leaving only the I'm setting the table for a party of one, watching the shadows outrun the sun. The silence is heavy, a guest in the chair. I'm talking to echoes that aren't even there. My phone is a graveyard of numbers I've lost, a digital winter, a permanent frost. I've forgotten the sound of a voice on the line saying, hey, are you busy? Or everything's fine. The walls are a map of the places I've been, but there's no one to witness the state that I'm in. I'm a satellite drifting, a signal unheard, looking for home in a four-letter word. And it's a long, hollow road in a life with no friends, where the beginning is exactly where the loneliness ends. No secrets to whisper, no shoulders to lean, just the static and ghost in the space in between. I'm the king of a kingdom of one-way streets, where the always and never are starting to meet. Yeah, the world is a crowd, but I'm made of the bends in the quiet of a life with no friends. I walk to the park just to hear people speak, to catch a stray laugh, to feel less like a freak. But the couples walk by like I'm made out of glass, a blur in the background as the memories pass. I remember a time when the kitchen was loud, the halls, just a shadow in the blues, in the us, and the anyone too alive with no friends. Sound of a single distant chime that rings out and fades into total silence. I'm sitting in the driveway with the engine humming low, watching the porch light flicker like it's telling me to go. I didn't feel a thunderclap, I didn't feel a tear, but the air inside my lungs just turned to static and to fear. I reached across the console where your hand would always be, but the leather's cold and empty, and it's staring back at me. It wasn't like a car crash or a sudden screaming halt, just a quiet, heavy shifting of a deep and hidden fall. There's no blood on the pavement, no smoke in the sky, just the sound of a hello turning into goodbye. I'm checking my pulse, but the rhythm is wrong, like I'm missing a beat in a lifelong song. And a tiny part of me just died tonight, without a sound, without a fight. It wasn't the whole heart, just a quarter, just a grain, a little piece of always that got caught out in the rain. I'm still standing here, I'm still believing in the blue, but there's a hollow space where I used to believe in you. A microscopic fracture, a flicker of the light, a tiny part just died tonight. I walked into the kitchen and I saw the chipped ceramic mug, the one we bought in Vegas with the cheesy painted hug. I didn't throw it at the wall, I didn't even sigh, I just put it in the cupboard and I looked it in the eye. That's when felt the shiver, that's when I felt the snap, like a single thread was breaking in a complicated trap. I'm becoming a collection of the things that used to be, a museum of the moments that were bitter and were sweet. It's the death of the girl who thought you'd never leave, the one who wore her spirit on a tattered hopeful sleeve. You won't even notice when you see me in the street that I'm walking with a ghost beneath my heavy tired feet. It's a quiet kind of mourning for a version of my soul that'll never be quite certain, never be quite whole. And a tiny part of me just died tonight, silence start to grow. It's just a fragment, it's just a spark that went out forever in the dark. A tiny part just died. The sound of a clock ticking 3 times and stopping. The wind stopped its screaming through the eaves, but the yard is just a graveyard of the leaves. I'm standing in the puddles on the floor, where the rain came leaking through the bolted door. The power's out, the clocks are frozen still. At the second that you broke my fragile will, I found your old umbrella by the mat, a broken, ripped reminder of where we once sat. The thunder's moved 100 miles away, but I'm shivering in the clinical white gray. I'm scrolling through the damage on my screen, tracing every pixel of what might have been, and I'm just picking up the pieces after the storm passed, watching the vivid colors fading out at last. It's quiet as a valley, it's heavy as a stone, the high definition version of being all alone. The clouds are breaking, but the spirit's still in debt to the read receipts and the digital regret. Yeah, the sky is turning silver, but the heart is officially glass. Now that I'm standing in the wreckage after the storm passed. sunlight, in the blinding light. Goodbye, in the middle of the night. Just a flicker, then the hush after the storm.
Past of a distant bird that stops abruptly, followed by a long, low-tuned piano note that sustains and slowly fades into white notes. Past for the distant bird that stops abruptly, followed by a long, low-tuned piano note that sustains and slowly fades into white notes.
The smart home speaker still plays your morning mix. The only broken thing I haven't learned to fix. I'm staring at the ads for two on every sidebar screen, a high-def ghost of the places that we've been. The search bar auto-completes the questions in my head, rereading every pixelated sentence that we ever said. The data knows I'm lonely before I even speak, watching the signal of us grow digitally weak. I'm scrolling through forever on a 5-inch pane of glass, watching all the vivid colors gradually pass. The math is cold and heavy, the logic is a sting in the hollowed out vibration of a used to be thing. And it's the algorithm loss, a calculation of God, feeding me memories from the shiver of the dawn. It predicts my heartbreak with a terrifying grace, putting thumbnails of your smile in every empty space. I'm a user not found, a variable in debt to the read receipts and the digital regret. Yeah, the code is officially broken, and the spirit's been tossed into the rhythm of the algorithm of loss. I clicked not interested, but the system doesn't care. It recommends the almost hanging in the air. I found an old draft in the cloud from 3 years back. I stutter in the silence of a heart that turned to black. The face ID don't recognize the person I've become, with a hollowed out pulse and a spirit getting numb. I'm archiving the glare and I'm clearing out the cache, but the internet remembers every single heavy crash. has failed to stop the delivery of memories so pale. I'm refining the sadness, polishing the gone, watching the low-res shimmer of another lonely dawn. Offline, deleted, disconnected soul. 'Cause it's the algorithm all lost, a calculation of God, feeding me memories from the shiver of the dawn. It predicts my heartbreak with a terrifying grace, putting thumbnails of your smile in every empty space. I'm a user not found, a variable in debt to the read receipts and the digital regret. Yeah, the code is officially broken, and the spirit's been tossed into the rhythm of the algorithm of loss. Recalculating the route to find, still waiting for a signal offline. Unsubscribe, heart of mine, algorithm of loss.
The sound of a haptic vibration that stops abruptly, followed by a long, low-tuned piano note that sustains and slowly fades into white noise.
The silence in the kitchen used to make me scream. Now it's just the baseline of a different kind of dream. I'm pouring out the coffee, just a single cup today, and I didn't check the window to see if you're headed my way. The space where you were sleeping is a wide and open plain. I'm finally learning how to keep the sun out of the rain. It's a heavy kind of quiet, it's a sharp and jagged air, but I'm breathing just as deeply as if you were sitting there. I've stopped looking for your shadow on the porch. I've stopped carrying this heavy dying torch. My knees are finally steady on the cold and wooden floor, and I'm not leaning my whole spirit up against the door. Throw lonely, and the goodbye in your eye. I'm the architect of lonely, and I'm doing just fine. 'Cause I'm alone, but I am standing. I'm broken, but I'm strong. Finding out the rhythm of a solo kind of song. It's a solitary fortress. It's a monument of me in the middle of the wreckage of what we used to be. I'm mourning every always, and I'm grieving every us, while I'm building up a future out of silver and of dust. Yeah, the heart is a survivor, and the colors start to throng in the silence of the woman who's alone but strong. One foot in front of the other. I don't need a savior, and I don't need a cover. Just the wind and the road and the weight of the load. I'm alone, but I'm strong. The sound of a single pipe of wind at me echoes and fades. I'm staring at the little cloud icon on the screen, clicking through the ghosts of the places that we've been. It asked me if I wanted to free up space today. But how can I throw the only parts of us away? I found the video from that rainy night in June. You were dancing in the kitchen to a half-forgotten tune. The resolution's perfect, but the feeling's out of reach. Just a digital lesson that I wasn't meant to teach. I've hidden the folder, I've changed the password too, to keep the world from seeing the me that's still in you. It's a secret museum, a gallery of stay, while the rest of my life is just drifting away. And your archetype forever in a folder made of lead, a high-definition version of the things we never said. I've backed up the heartbeat, I've saved every sigh, in a cold electric graveyard where the memories don't die. It's a safe keeping messages from 3 years ago, back when they always didn't have a place to go. I'm scrolling through the love yous like I'm reading someone's mail, watching the colors of our history turn pale. I tried to hit the button that would wipe the memory clean, but I'm terrified of living in a world that's never seen the way you looked at me before the static settled in, before the sorry and the where do we begin. Is it a sanctuary, or is it a cage to be stuck on the pixels of a ruined page? I'm refreshing the image just to see your face, while I'm becoming a stranger in my own space. If the server crashes, am I finally free, or is the archive the only thing left of me? 'Cause you're behind the levee, just a file. In the blue, nothing left of me and you. Archived forever. The sound of a hard drive spinning down, followed by a single resonant electronic chime. I'm staring at the circles in the dust, where the spices and the coffee used to be. The pantry's just a skeleton of us, and a hollowed out version of me. You took the good plates and the silver tray, but you left the chipped ceramic in the sink. It's funny how the heavy things just stay, while the always disappears in a blink. There's no weight in the kitchen, no life in the hall, just the rectangular shadows on the back of the wall. I'm checking the corners for a stray or forgotten key in the high definition ruins of what we used to be. Tonight, under the hum of a flickering light, the brackets are empty, the wood is all cold, like a story that ended before it was told. I'm a tenant of nothing, a squatter in the blue, looking for a heartbeat that belonged to the you. Yeah, the house is still standing, but the spirit is thin, lost in the bare shells of where we begin. I found a single book that you didn't want to keep, tucked in the corner where the memories sleep. The spine is all broken, the pages are stained, like a garden that suffered from too much of the rain. I tried to fill the gaps with some plants and some stone, anything to prove that I'm not truly alone. But the space is too wide and the space is too deep, and I'm guarding the secrets that I wasn't meant to keep. Is it a haunting or a sanctuary? This place where the Sundays go to bury. I'm reaching for a glass that isn't even there, grasping at the handfuls of the stagnant gray air. If I buy new things, will the echo disappear? Or does the open space just draw you more near? 'Cause I'm living with the bare shelves tonight, under the hum of a flickering light. The brackets are empty, the wood is all cold, like a story that ended before it was told. I'm a tenant of nothing, a squatter in the blue, looking for a heartbeat that belonged to the you. Yeah, the house is still standing, but the spirit is thin, lost in the bare shells of where we began. Nothing to hold, nothing to show, just a wide open maybe that I have to let go. Just a shelf in the dark, not a soul, not a spark. Bare hollow thud on wood, followed by a long natural reverb that fades into absolute silence. The screen is flickering, ghostly white, in the hollowed out silence of a Tuesday night. I'm scrolling through the threads of forever and stay, watching the color of us slowly wash away. I've got your old voice note queued up to play, to hear the last promise you whispered and made. But the charger is broken and the wall is too far, and I'm losing the signal of the person you are. The red line is thinning, a desperate spark, a countdown to living alone in the dark. I'm typing I miss you with a shaking thumb, waiting for the numbness to finally come. And I'm holding my breath with my battery on, knowing the damage is already done. 1% of maybe, 1% of hope at the end of a frayed and digital rope. If the power goes out, then it always is dead, and I'm stuck in the vacuum of things left unsaid. Yeah, the world is a scream that I'm trying to run on a dying heart with a battery at 1. I see the typing bubbles appear and then fade, like a haunting reflection of the choices we made. The pixels are blurring, the signal is weak, and the silence is louder than the words I can speak. I found an old photo tucked deep in the cache, back before the sorry and the final heavy crash. Now I'm staring at the low power warning sign, watching the spirit of us go officially offline. Is it a mercy to let the screen go black, to stop trying to pull a ghost through the screen back? I'm a user not found, I'm a message not sent, a high definition version of where the forever went. The brightness is dimming, the clock's ticking out, and I'm holding my breath with my battery at 1, knowing the damage is already done. 1% of maybe, 1% of hope at the end of a frayed and digital rope. If the power goes out, then the always is dead, and I'm stuck in the vacuum of things left unsaid. Yeah, the world is a scream that I'm trying to run on a dying heart with a battery at 1. Shutting down, offline, disconnected heart of mine, just a flicker, then the dark, losing the always, losing the spark. Battery at 0. The sun is setting, but the shadows are too long. There's a discord in the middle of our favorite song. I heard a scratching at the heavy wooden door, a sound I haven't heard since you don't live here anymore. I didn't look, I didn't want to see the sight of the creature waiting for me in the dying light. But I can feel the weight of a gaze I can't ignore as the floorboards start to settle and the wind begins to roar. He's got a coat of midnight and a heart of hollow stone, and he's come to sit beside me now that I am all alone. He doesn't bark, he doesn't whine, he doesn't make a sound. He just paces out the perimeter of this lonely, holy ground. And he's asking for a home in the black-eyed dog and the marrow of my bone. I tried to lure him out with a bowl of milk and grace, but he only wants the reflection of your vanished face. He follows me from room to room, a silent, heavy ghost, guarding the parts of me that I used to love the most. I see him in the mirror when I'm brushing out my hair, the silhouette of a sorrow that is always, always there. He's a patient kind of hunter, a steady kind of friend, the only one who's staying till the bitter, jagged end. Is he a warning, or is he a reprieve from the agony of watching you decide to up and leave? I'm stroking his head while the house begins to chill, and the world outside is turning, but the dog is standing still. And there's a black-eyed dog sitting on my porch today, waiting for the last of my forever to decay. He's the keeper of the secrets that I never told to you, the shadow of the almost and the couldn't see it through. I'm reaching for a hand, but I'm finding only fur, cold as the memory of the person that you were. Yeah, the grief is at the threshold, and he's asking for a home in the black-eyed dog and the marrow of my bone. sheets are cold, the house is still. I'm staring at the windowsill, but there's no moon and there's no stars, just the hum of distant passing cars. I reach for the ghost on the other side, but you're 1,000 miles of pride. So wake the screen to fill the space and let the LED wash over my face. A 4 a.m. fever, a digital lake. How much of this haunting am I supposed to take? I'm scrolling through forever in a 5-inch frame, waiting for a notification to whisper your name. And I've got the blue light, blues tonight, drowning in the glow of the sunlight flight. Checking your last factor, checking the time, treating your silence like a heavy-duty crime. My eyes are burning, but I can't look away from the high-def version of a yesterday. Yeah, the heart is a signal that nobody's catching, in the blue light blues and the memories I'm missing. I found a video from a New Year's Eve back when always was something we'd both believe. You're laughing at the camera, your hair's a mess. Before the sorry and the I must confess, I've looped the 3 seconds where you look at me as if you could see through the static to the me. But the battery's low and the signal is thin, and I don't know where the forgetting is supposed to begin. Is it a sanctuary or a surgical ward? This glow in the dark is all I afford. I'm typing out I miss you, then hit and delete. A digital rhythm to a solo heartbeat. If I throw the phone against the bedroom wall, will it stop the us from being a total fall? 'Cause I've got the blue light, blues tonight, drowning in the glow of a thin white light. Checking your last actor, checking the time, treating your silence like a heavy-duty crime. My eyes are burning, but I can't look away from the high-def version of a yesterday. Yeah, the heart is a signal that nobody's catching, in the blue light blues and the memories I'm etching. 10%, 5%. I'm losing the old ways and the where it went, just a scream in the dark. Not a soul, not a spark. Blue light blues.
The sound of a low battery alert, followed by a sudden, heavy silence.
I'm standing by the mailbox with the peeling white paint, looking at the garden where the lilies are faint. The gate is hanging crooked on a rusted out hinge, and the edges of the lawn have started to fringe. I remember the Sunday we bought the first post, before the whole forever turned into a ghost. Now there's a gap in the wood where the world rushes in, and I don't know where the lonely is supposed to begin. We were building a fortress, we were digging a mold, keeping the someday and the maybe afloat. But the wood started splitting under the weight of the rain, and the happy got tangled in the wire of the pain. And we're living behind these broken picket fences, losing our minds and our common senses. The perimeter's failing, the boundary's gone. I'm just a shadow on a dying gray lawn. We painted the dream, but we didn't use primer. Now I'm just a fool and a weary old climber, staring at the splinters where the earth commences, behind the broken picket fences. There's a tricycle rusted in the tall yellow grass, next to the shards of a shattered wine glass. The neighbors walk by and they lower their heads, while I'm inside counting the threads in the beds. I try to hammer a nail back into the grain, but the hammer is heavy and the wood is in vain. It's a decorative prison, a suburban despair, to be guarding a house when there's nobody there. Was it the termites, or was it the pride that ate through the always we carried inside? I'm checking the foundation for a secret deep rot, wondering if I'm the only one who forgot that a fence is just wood until you give it a soul, and a heart is just glass till you lose all a shadow on a dying gray lawn. We painted the dream, but we didn't use primer. Now I'm just a fool and a weary old climber, staring at the splinters where the earth commences, behind the broken picket fences. Tear it all down, let the weeds take the yard. I'm tired of trying, I'm tired of on guard, just a gap in the wood where a memory stood. Broken picket fences. The sound of a wooden slat falling onto the ground, then a soft, fading harmonica. I'm standing in the driveway where the shovels used to lean, but the garden's just a ghost and the grass is never green. I'm tracing out the letters of your name upon the glass, watching every vivid part of our history pass. The coffee's getting cold, but I haven't moved a limb, staring at the shadows where the light is getting dim. I found your woolen cardigan in the bottom of a bin, a heavy silver shroud for the state that I am in. The wind is a hammer, the ice is a blade, cutting through the sanctuary that we together made. I'm reaching for a frequency that's buried in the white, in the hollowed out loud vibration of the middle of the night. And I just buried under the snow tonight, flickering like static in the single bright light. 1 inch for the maybe, 10 feet for the gone, watching the always just gradually the gaslight. In the hollow, I'm dying in the cold, lost inside the rhythm of a story never told. Yeah, the link is officially broken and the sky is a cost underneath the hush and everything I've lost. I found an old photo in the hidden folder cache, back from the morning before the final crash. Your smile is a prism, your hair is a blur, just a low-res byproduct of the person you were. I'm scrolling through the ruins of a neon-colored trust, turning all the pixels into silver and dust. The battery is dying and the signal is dead, just like the hollowed-out promise in my muscle and bone. Is it a mercy to let the winter stay, to stop waiting for the maybe and the yesterday away? I'm offline and drifting, a satellite and dead to the read receipts and the digital regret. If I clear the cache, am I finally free? Or is the rubble the only thing left of me? Freezing in the blinding light, falling in the middle of the night, just a flicker, then the hush in the snow.
The sound of a distant wind that stops abruptly, followed by a long, low-tuned piano note that sustains and slowly fades into white noise.
I'm washing the glass that you left on the wood, keeping the rings where the condensation stood. I haven't moved the shoes that you kicked by the mat. There's a comfort in the clutter, a ghost where you sat. The pillows are still indented with the shape of your head. I'm sleeping on the edge of a vast empty bed. They tell me that clearing the space is the start, but I'm not ready to evict you from the rooms of my heart. The silence is heavy, but it's yours to keep. I'm guarding the secrets while the neighborhood's asleep. It's a strange kind of worship, a quiet, lonely grace, to find so much beauty in an empty space. 'Cause you're cherished in absence, loved in the void, a masterpiece built from the things we destroyed. Every shadow is sacred, every echo is gold in this museum of a story that'll never be told. I'm holding the nothing like it's everything I own, the king of a kingdom. I rule all alone. It's a bittersweet science, a holy kind of penance, to keep you so cherished in your total absence. I find myself talking to the steam from the tea, answering the questions you'll be asking of me. How was your day and did you see the new moon? I'm humming the harmony to the one-sided tune. If I fix all the leaks and I paint all the walls, knows, will I lose the vibration of your step in the halls? I'd rather the ruins, I'd rather the dust than a shiny new life without the us I could trust. Is it a haunting or is it a gift to feel the air thicken every time that I shift? I'm not moving on, I'm just staying behind in the cathedral of you that I've built in my mind. 'Cause you're cherished in absence, loved in the void, a masterpiece built from the things we destroyed. Every shadow is sacred, every echo is gold in this museum of a story that'll never be told. I'm holding the nothing like it's everything I own, the king of a kingdom, I rule all alone. It's a bittersweet science, a holy kind of penance, to keep you so cherished in your total absence. You're here in the way that the light hits the floor. You're here in the click of the latch on the door. Cherished in the quiet, cherished in the dark, still feeling the heat of a vanished spark. I'm looking at the storage on my phone, full of high-res ghosts and the seeds we've sown. It's asking me to upgrade for a fee, but there's already too much of you and me. I found a cashed-up video from May, a stutter in the silence of the day you went away. I'm scrolling through the static, I'm searching for a spark, but the server's officially gone dark in the middle of the dark. The sink is always spinning, but nothing ever moves except the heavy needle and these jagged edge grooves. I'm uploading the heartache, I'm backing up the gone, watching the lower shimmer of another lonely dawn. And I'm just living in a cloud of sadness tonight, flickering like static in the sobriety of light. It's a digital museum of a broken-hearted trust, turning all our pixels into silver and dust. I'm a user not found, a variable in debt to the read receipts and the digital regret. Yeah, the debt is getting heavy and the signals turn to madness, and the unlimited storage of this cloud of sadness. I clicked delete forever, but I couldn't hit the dot, because forgetting you is the only thing I've got. I see the face ID, fail to recognize my eyes, drowning in the static in the digital lies. I found a hidden album from a night in July, before the resolution started to wither and die. Now the upload is stalled and the connection is poor in the high-def ruins of what isn't anymore. Is it a mercy to let the servers crash, to stop the delivery of the final heavy crash? I'm offline and drifting, a satellite in dead, to the read receipts and the digital regret. If I clear the cache, am I finally free? Or is the cloud the only thing left of me? Compressing the us away,
followed by a long low tune piano note that sustains and slowly fades into white noise.
I woke up reaching for a hand that isn't there, and caught a handful of the quiet morning air. The curtains are half open, letting in the gray, a mocking little reminder that you're miles away. I'm anchored to the center, afraid to shift an inch, feeling every second like a slow and steady pinch. The sheets are pulled so tight on the right-hand side, like a border for the secrets that I'm trying to hide. I used to complain that you took up too much space. Now I'd give anything to see your sleeping face. But the cotton is flat and the fabric is still, and the air in the room has a permanent chill. And I'm freezing on the cold side of a double bed, tangled in the always and the things we never said. I'm staring at the pillow where your shadow used to be, watching the distance grow between the you and me. It's a desert made of linen, a canyon in the cloth, a flame that died out and left a lonely mark. Yeah, my heart is a winter that never finds its rest, lying on the cold side of the mattress. I found your old t-shirt underneath the frame. It still smells like the Sunday before the winter came. I thought about moving it, I thought about the wash, but I'm terrified the memory is something I'll squash. So I leave it in the hollow, I leave it in the dark, a tiny hidden tribute to a vanished spark. The radiator's clicking, but it can't reach the bone in this high definition version of being all alone. Is it a haunting or a sanctuary? This place where all the forevers go to bury. I'm rolling to the middle, then I'm drawing back fast, like I'm allergic to the ghost of a beautiful past. If I stay on my side, does it mean you're coming home? Or am I just a statue of muscle and of bone? And I'm freezing on the cold side of a double bed, tangled in the always and the things we never said. I'm staring at the pillow where your shadow used to be, watching the distance grow between the you and me. for one broken heart, watching the us slowly drift apart. One side is warm, but the other is lit, and I to the ghost in the half-empty bed, the cold side of the mattress. The cold side of the mattress. I ran into you at the grocery store, by the fruit we used to buy when we were more. You asked about my mom, I asked about your dog. Both of us drifting in a polite gray fog. There's a 3-foot gap of linoleum tile where 1,000 I love yous used to pile. But now we're just careful, we're keeping it light, staring at the labels to avoid the sight. The us that I knew is a closed down shop. The rain on the roof is starting to stop. We're nodding our heads to a rhythm that's dead, leaving the heaviest stories unsaid. Now we're just cordial acquaintances, passing the time, a rhythmic hello that doesn't quite rhyme. We're shaking the hands that used to hold hearts, playing our tiny, forgettable parts. It's a civil disaster, a pleasant goodbye with a hope you've been well and a look in the eye. The fire is out and the distance commences between two strangers and cordial acquaintances. Cordial acquaintances. I saw you had a haircut, I didn't say a word. The silence was the loudest thing I ever heard. You checked your watch and said you had to go, like there wasn't a life that we used to know. I watched your back as you walked through the door, a ghost of the person I used to adore. Now you're just a name on a Christmas card list, a beautiful memory that doesn't exist. Is it better this way? To be kind and be cold, to act like the secrets have all been unsold. I'd rather you hate me, I'd rather you scream, than to be just a face in a dull waking dream. Now we're just cordial acquaintances, passing the time, a rhythmic hello that doesn't quite rhyme. We're shaking the hands that used to hold hearts, playing our tiny, forgettable parts. It's a civil disaster, a acquaintances and cordial acquaintances. Take care, you said. You too, I lied, and something small and quiet died. Just a nod in the canned food, our cordial fading smile. I'm breathing on the window just to watch the frost retreat, tracing lines of I was yours before the winter's complete. The air is sharp and brittle, like the promises we made. I'm watching every color in the living room start to fade. I found your silver locket in the pocket of my coat. It's a heavy frozen anchor that is keeping me afloat. I'm speaking to the shadows, I'm talking to the glass, waiting for the ghost of us to finally let me pass. Every word I say is a splinter in the air, fragile as a secret that was never meant to share. I'm a house of cards in a high and howling wind, looking for the place where the forever actually pinned. And they're just crystalline whispers breaking on the floor, sharp enough to cut me, but I'm reaching out for more. They're the echoes of the almost and the could have beens, caught in the reflection of a love that's paper thin. I'm shivering in the beauty of a cold and quiet grace, finding every jagged edge of your vanished face. Yeah, my heart is made of ice, but the shivering begins in the crystalline whispers. The tears turning solid in a chipped and porcelain cup. I'm staring at the ceiling, I'm never looking up. I'm memorizing the geometry of how you said goodbye, the angles of your shoulders and the grayness of the sky. There's a symphony of cracking in the middle of the night, when the temperature is dropping and there isn't any light. I'm a sculpture of a memory, I'm a monument to stay, while the better parts of you and I are melting all away. If I stay this still, will I shatter into dust? Or is the freezing over just a different kind of trust? I'm a prism for the sorrow, I'm a mirror for the pain, turning every teardrop into a frozen silver stain. And they're just crystalline whispers breaking on the floor, sharp enough to cut me, but I'm reaching out for the shivering begins in the crystalline whispers. Glass on the ground, a beautiful sound. Everything's breaking, everything's found. Just a whisper, just a spark, frozen forever in the dark. Crystalline whispers.
The sound of a delicate glass chime, then a single, high piano note.
I'm folding the corners of the maps we drew. I'm giving the records back to you. No screaming matches, no shattered glass, just watching the final minutes pass. I've scrubbed the forever off the kitchen wall. I'm standing steady, I'm standing tall, but my ribs are a cage for a bird that won't sing as I hand you back your favorite thing. There's no blood on the floor, no smoke in the air, just a hollowed out us and an empty chair. We're shaking hands on the edge of the grave of the version of me that I couldn't save. It's a death with dignity, a quiet goodbye, with a steady hand and a bone dry eye. We're not burning the house, we're just turning the key on the ghost of the people we used to be. No dramatic exit, no stay if you care, just a polite arrangement of empty air. It's the cleanest of cuts, a surgical line. Dignity, yours and mine. You ask if I'm okay, and I say I am, as I shut the door with a gentle jam. No, how could you do this? No, where did we go? Just the soft white static of falling snow. I'm polishing the failure till it starts to shine, like a vintage bottle of bitter wine. We're mourning in whispers, we're grieving in cold, two weary travelers at the end of the road. Is it a mercy or is it a crime to end it all so well and on time? I'd almost prefer a thunderous crash to this silent pile of cooling ash, but we're too civil for the fire and the rain, so we'll just walk away with a dignified pain. It's a death with dignity, a quiet goodbye, with a steady hand and a bone dry eye. We're not burning the house, we're just turning the key on the ghost of the people we used to be. No dramatic exit, no stay if you care, just a polite arrangement of empty air. It's the cleanest of cuts, a surgical line. A death with dignity, yours and mine. Rest in peace to the plans we made. Let the colors slowly fade. Don't look back, don't make a sound, just lay the us in the quiet ground. until the end. A single final note that fades into